Okay then Alex, let's see how you get on with this paper 2. So again, you're looking for a mark in the 60s to be sure of that grade C. Okay, when you are working with money in your calculator doesn't know you're working in money. So it won't add the 0 that you need in order to put money to 2 decimal places. Now as it happens, this isn't penalised in the mark scheme, but it is something you need to be careful of because it is something that might become penalised. Okay, and it's just you recognising that it is money as a context and adding that 0 where you need to. That's good. Kilograms, millilitres, centimetres, kilometres. Good. Now with this one, you are out of range. The answer, they will accept anything between 72 and 78. So you should have added that one, that's more than a half, that one, and that one there, and then those 4 would have brought you into range. So your method is fine, because I can see you're not counting every square, but that's outside the range. It needs to be anything between 72 and 78 to get that mark. So 11 for those first few questions. Now that is a straight line. So is that, so is that. So you need to be using a ruler to complete that side of the shape. The only part there that you needed to draw freehand was the curved part. I'm just checking, yeah, that is okay, but make sure in future you use a ruler for that. That's correct, well done. That is correct too. Good. Now, when you're drawing a graph, you need to show that you've chosen a sensible scale. Your scale is good. You've labelled spring, summer, winter, autumn. That's good. Use a ruler when you are drawing the bars. It's a bit scruffy. Your bars are the correct height. The only thing you haven't done is labelled this axis, and this axis you'd label as frequency. So let me just check the mark scheme again. So you would lose 1 mark there for not labelling that axis. So of the 6, there's 2 on the previous page and 3 there, and you lose the 1 for no frequency. Summer is correct, and so is 7 out of 40, so that's good. C, A, B, well done. Likely, good. 0.25, 60%. 6/10 is fine, and 3/4 is fine as well. That's good. 8, 14 on that page. That's a good page. Well done. Okay, diamond is not a mathematical shape. What this shape would be is, if it's an isosceles triangle, 2 sides are the same length. If then they put another identical isosceles triangle the other side, it would look like that, and that would be a rhombus. So let me just see how fussy they want to be as to your sketch. No, you won't get that one. And then for the second one, different sized isosceles triangles. So let's say we've got one there. Their glued sides are the same length, so let's say that one's longer. Then what that shape is a kite, which is a mathematical word. So no marks there. With this one, it's not adding 3. If you look, these numbers are going down. So adding 3 would make those numbers get larger and larger and larger. So it's not adding 3, it's subtracting 7. And the other thing to say is it's telling you that it has to be in words. So you're subtracting 7 every time. And then for the second one, you are multiplying by -2. So you got the harder one right. Again, you should be putting that in words. But they will actually allow what you've done. But again, you have to be careful, because sometimes they are more fussy about you doing what they're telling you to do. X plus 6 and x minus 6, well done. £20, good. P is 16, excellent. 3, 6, 8. 8 on that page. 4.5. So your algebra is good. That is good as well. 17, 24, 31. 27, 23, 19. Because 10 steps of 6, 60 plus 40 is 100. Good. Now, what you haven't answered there is it's asking you after how many steps. You've shown me that it does coincide. So you're going to lose 1 mark there because you haven't told me that it'll be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. 6, 10, 11 for the page. Take a look how I explained that on the video clip and see if it helps you get your head around that. Right, now this is the question where there are going to be 2 marks given for your ability to explain what you're doing. So you haven't, so of those 5, you're going to get a maximum of 3 because you haven't shown me how you worked that out. The 105 is correct, so you're going to get 3 marks for that, but you're not telling me that you're dividing 180 by 3 because it's an equilateral triangle, so the angles are the same. You're not telling me that each of those corners is 90 degrees, so you're going to half it, and so on. So you'll only get the 3 out of the 5 for that. Take a look how I go through these on the video clip. It is certainly something we'll be practicing in the coming weeks. Similarly with this, that's a bearings question. I would imagine you would have practiced those in the higher tier. So 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. So you've got it between 2.7 and 2.8. What you then have to do is go halfway between 2.7 and 2.8 to decide which of those is the closest. It's not enough just to get it between the 2 and then decide. So what you have to do, so once you've got it between 2 consecutive 1 decimal place numbers, 2.7 and 2.8, you need to say, so either that gets you 2 out of the 3 marks. Then what you do is you test. So you go halfway between 2.7 and 2.8, which is 2.75. You work out what answer that gives you, And then if that answer comes out to be too small, it means that everything between 2.75 and that is too small, so 2.8 is your answer. If 2.75 is too big, it means everything between there and there is too big, so the smaller one is your answer. When you work it out in your calculator, it works out to be minus 0.45, which is too small. So because it's too small, therefore x equals 2.8 to 1 dp. So even though you got the answer right, you will only get half marks because you have to do that final testing step. Okay, so watch the video clip of that, and whether you run out of time or energy after that, that is something that you certainly would have practiced in the higher tier. And then we've got some Pythag going here, and let's take a look. Right, first of all, there is no trig in the higher tier, sorry, in the foundation tier. The 9.5 is what you need to work out the perimeter. So the perimeter of the shape, if you start there, is going to be that side plus that side plus that side that you've just worked out. The area of the triangle is half base times height. Again, that is something that you an area formula that you should know. So you've got your Pythagoras, and so you're going to get 3 marks for the Pythag for that, no marks up there, and then no marks for the perimeter. So the 3 marks are for the workings out that you've done up there. Okay, well, there's no question this is a much better paper than the one you did as a test last week. So let's see whether you're up at the 60s. 11, oops, 7, so 18, 28, 32, 40, 51, 54, 56, 59. Okay, actually on this November 12, 59 was possibly enough to get you a C, but I'm saying 61 is a safe C. So I'm going to say that that's a D, and I'm going to say that you are only 2 marks off a grade C. So that's a massive improvement on last week. And there's questions in there like bearings, for example, that you totally left out, that you know, certainly by the time we get to the exam you'll be able to do that. And again, when you go back and look through that paper, you'll easily find those 2 marks. I mean, there's 1 mark there just because you haven't quite counted enough squares. So that's really encouraging, Alex. Well done.